Everton signed Gylfi Sigurdsson for £45 million. It's a club record transfer fee for the Toffees and the most that Swansea have ever received for just one player, but due to the size of this fee, many people are suggesting it's just far too much money. So have Everton overspent, or is this just the sort of fee you got to pay in today's market? Today we're discussing the most expensive Icelandic player in football history and the implications and benefits of this deal for both clubs. When Swansea signed Gylfi Sigurdsson on loan back in 2012 from Hoffenheim, most of us that had seen him play in the Championship for Reading were not surprised to see him hit the ground running under one-time former manager Brendan Rodgers. He helped guide the Swans to an 11th place finish in their first ever season in the Premier League, scoring 7 goals in 18 games, a really impressive return. Linked with a permanent move there in the summer and a fee being arranged as well, the deal seemed all but done, but unfortunately collapsed when Brendan Rodgers moved to Liverpool in the summer and they joined the race for his signature. So did Spurs, and in the end, Gylfi decided to go to the latter of those two teams and try his luck in the nation's capital, signing for a fee of just over £8 million. Unfortunately for Sigurdsson, the deal didn't really work out for him. He spent 2 years at White Hart Lane, but really struggled to show the form he had shown whilst at Swansea on loan, and just 2 years later, he was back in Wales for Swansea on a permanent deal, and this time, things are going to be a lot better for Gylfi. During his second stint with Swansea, Sigurdsson was immense, and in the 3 years he spent there, 2 times he was voted player of the season. And based on his statistics, most people agree that last season Swansea would have been dead and buried without him. He was a major reason why they avoided a drop. In his combined 3.5 years for Swansea in the Premier League, he played in 124 games and scored 34 goals whilst also racking up 28 assists. That's pretty impressive. It's even more impressive when you compare some of his stats last season with other players in the league. He had the 3rd most assists in the league with 13, most assists from set pieces with 8, and he also created a whopping 52 chances from set pieces as well. And in the past 3 seasons, he's also scored more free kicks in the Premier League than anyone else with 6. And one of my favourite statistics ever is distance cover, because I love my workhorses, and I was really surprised that when doing the research, Gylfi Sigurdsson last season actually ran more miles than anyone else in the Premier League, covering a staggering 255 miles for the course of the season. I'd like to think I'm still in pretty decent shape, you know, I'm certainly not in my prime anymore, that's for sure, but 255 miles, Lord knows I could never manage that. So I think most are in agreement that this is a proven, very good player that Everton has signed for their club, so what's with all the fuss? Well, £45 million is a lot to spend on any player, particularly if they've got no Champions League experience whatsoever, which is what the Toffees are hoping that they'll be able to break into long term. Let's not forget that with £45 million being such a big fee and a big chunk out of their transfer budget as well, many fans are suggesting the money could have been spent in other areas. Everton already have Ross Barkley, who to be fair is probably going to be leaving the club, but still there right now, and of course they've just re-signed Wayne Rooney and have signed Davy Klaassen from Ajax as well. But despite them already having decent options in those areas, there are many different systems that Koeman could play in order to play Sigurdsson, Rooney and Klaassen on the pitch at the same time. And while Sigurdsson is really most effective when playing through the middle, or so it seems, he spent time playing on the wings for both Swansea and Spurs as well, so it's not like he's unfamiliar to those roles. Let's not forget that with his range of ability and his versatility as well, he'd also be a really good option on the left-hand side, playing as an inside forward in Everton's team with the really good long-range shooting ability he's got, and a really effective crossing ability too. But whilst Everton gain, Swansea do appear to lose. But could this deal actually end up being quite good for the Welsh side? Well, based on all we've discussed today, you'd have to say no. But Gylfi Sigurdsson didn't want to be at Swansea anymore, and that's for sure, and was almost certainly going to be leaving in one of the 2 transfer windows this season. So now he's gone, with 2 weeks still being left in the summer transfer window. Swansea have enough time to search for a replacement, look to sign a couple of players with the £40 million they'll receive up front, and bring in a few players that can help them avoid a drop this season. And even though we know that players now cost a lot more than they did a few years ago, with £40 million, it's not like they're short of money and short of options as well. We won't ever know whether Gylfi could provide the heroics once again to steer the Swans clear of the drop zone and keep them in the Premier League again, but what we do know is that when a player's unhappy, they're never really going to give 110% like they used to when they've got their mind and their eyes on a move elsewhere. So with that being the case, for Swansea, this was probably the best outcome they could have got. They've got £40 million rising to £45 million for a player that didn't want to be there anymore and was probably going to leave in January salary, possibly for even lower of a transfer fee, and they've got time to work with in this summer window to bring in the replacements they'd need to help them avoid a drop again. So in the end, it's a good deal for both parties when you think about it. Everton are getting a really good proven Premier League player to add to their already decent growing side. Swansea are getting 40 to 45 million pounds for a player that didn't want to be there anymore, and for Gylfi Sigurdsson, he gets to move to a club which is a better team right now and has higher ambitions as well. So in the end, it's win, win, win for everyone involved. But of course, the biggest talking point of this transfer is this. Is it too much money, and have Everton overspent? Well, I guess that depends on how you want to look at it really. While some might say it's far too expensive and way too pricey, it is in the top 40 for most expensive transfers ever in football history. It's also only the 8th most expensive signing of the window, and that really puts everything into perspective when it's in the top 40 worldwide ever in history, but only top 8 in this window with 2 weeks still left to go. It really is all about perspective. Inflation really has affected the game in the past few years alone so badly, and it's just rising year after year after year. Clubs now realise they don't need to be held to ransom when selling their players because they have the money and the resources to keep them here against their wishes if they want to do so. And they also know that the other clubs have more money than ever before as well, so they can demand more and charge more for the player services. And of course, the league that is benefiting mostly right now from the money being available is, well, guess what? The Premier League. Not a real surprise. Due to the TV deal, clubs have more money than ever before right now, hence why there are so many big transfer offers flying around this season, and with so many of them being in the Premier League. So now that we know that the clubs have more money than ever before, is it really that much of a surprise that Gylfi Sigurdsson a few years ago cost under £10 million, but now is worth 40 to 45 million pounds? Probably not. I mean, this is just how it goes really. It's inflation. As the years go on, players cost more, and that's just how it is. But whilst that may be the case, the question still remains. Will he prove to be worth 45 million pounds during his time at Everton? Well, I can't answer that, and I guess only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, then please do consider leaving a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more football chat as well, and let me know in the comment section down below what you guys make of this deal. Is Sigurdsson far too expensive at 40 to 45 million pounds? How much would you say he's worth, and where do you think Everton are going to finish this season in the Premier League? Thanks for watching, much love to you all, have an awesome day, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you for another video very soon. Bye!